I grew up in, in a very poor area. I mean, my dad is 67, owns a construction company, and still works 7 days a week. My mom was a bilingual teacher for 33 years. We believe in family. We believe in God. We believe in faith, family, freedom, hard work. These are the principles of the Hispanic culture. We do know that Planned Parenthood is predominantly in poorer neighborhoods. It wasn't far. It wasn't hard to find, and it wasn't hard to get to. I made the decision, I did the research, and I thought, I'm just gonna have an abortion because that's what we hear in the news. But a little did I know that I'd be haunted with my decision even now, right? And so we get to the clinic, there's a bunch of girls in the waiting room, and they give me a clipboard and I fill out all of my information and I wait my turn. If this tells you just kind of what kind of situation I was in, they tell you the price of the service. There's an anesthesia fee that you can get that'll help relieve all the pain from, your hips down so you don't feel anything. That'll be another $150. And so I paid my fees, sat and waited for my turn. After the ultrasound, they take you to the back and they give you your white gown. I remember walking through those doors, and as I was putting my gown on, and it felt almost like a scary movie, right? Like everything was white and super bright. And then it was quiet until it wasn't, because you'd hear a girl screaming in the back. They told me to lay on the bed on the operating table, and the doctor comes in and kind of talks to me about some stuff, and he's getting ready to get started. And I was like, well, what about the anesthesia? And they're like, oh, they haven't done that for you yet. And I was like, no, they haven't. And so the doctor's kind of annoyed. He walks out and he tells the nurse comes in and she gives me my anesthesia, and he comes back within a few minutes. The anesthesia didn't even have time to kick in. I just remember laying there. There was like this mirror above. I could see everything, but worse, I could feel everything. The doctor didn't talk to me much. He just kind of went to work. What felt like a woman's checkup just got worse. And all of a sudden I hear the vacuum and the utensils, and I feel him tearing at whatever's inside. And it was the most painful feeling in the world. As someone who still never hasn't had children yet, for me, it was painful. Even to this day, it's painful to think about. And I had my moments where it was my turn to scream out like all the other women that I had heard. And then it was over and I passed out. When I woke up, I don't know how long, there was a girl that I went to high school with. We did not get along. But that day when we looked at each other, there wasn't any hate or anger. It was just, we connected on a level that only her and I could connect on. We both had tears down our eyes, and I closed my eyes and I passed out again. And so they let me stay there for about, I think, 2 hours. And as the lady that's checking me out gives me my stuff, she's like, I'll see you in a year or so. And I just remember thinking, like, I would never want to do this again. Like, who wants to come back? But also, how dare you? So nonchalant, like she sees the same women coming in and out of that clinic because that's the environment that they're in. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have the best education resources. We come from broken homes. It was a really hard year after that. I was so sad. I was like, I kind of turned to God accidentally. And I was like, God, if you can just get me out of here, get me out of this environment, I will serve you, live a life of service, whatever that looks like. It was really interesting because, again, when I found myself at your pro-life event, I never realized that I had never been to an event to spread the word about how dangerous and how sad these decisions and how long they live with you. One of my soldiers that were like, well, ma'am, like, look at what you were able to achieve because you didn't have a baby. And I was like, yeah, but it's not always about what we're achieving. You're mistaken if you don't think that I think about that moment every day. I chose not to have a family, and I chose to be single, and I chose to focus on all of these things. And I always, in my mind, I was like, but are you happy? We all have to sit in our decisions. After my abortion, I turned not just to fitness, but like the more pain that I could physically cause to my body, the stronger I felt like I gotta get strong. I gotta be strong. The harder I can work out and feel that pain, maybe that'll hurt more than my experience at the abortion clinic. That feeling in your gut never goes away. I broke my body. I had pelvic floor issues. I had bladder issues. I had pain constantly, just random. And what was interesting is if I was watching a show or a movie that had an abortion scene in it, instantly I'd feel those. I still feel that pain now because I have so much internal damage from my hips down. And when I got my diagnosis, there's a possibility that I could never bear children. It was heartbreaking. It also kind of felt justified. It's like, well, maybe this is what I get. My walk with God has gotten stronger over the last few years, and I realized that God doesn't punish. He does forgive me. But a decision I made now 13 years ago is affecting me now as a happily married woman who would love to have children.
Alternatives Pregnancy Center exists to protect women from this reality. To be a part of continuing this life-saving ministry, you can give on our website at pgtest.org/donate.